According to a recent survey of Bitcoin users, the most common use of Bitcoins was as donations. Hi, I'm Dr. Stephanie Murphy with Free Aid, the world's first Bitcoin-based charity. Join me as I moderate a panel discussion about Bitcoin and nonprofit organizations at the Bitcoin 2013 conference. On the panel will be Angela Keaton from antiwar.com, Carla Garrick from the Free State Project, and Teresa Wormke, my partner at Free Aid. Bitcoin Not Bombs is launching us into financial freedom this May at the Bitcoin 2013 conference. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com.
Sit back, relax, cause here we go. It's a Porc Therapy bonus show. Oh yeah!
Hello, and welcome to a special bonus episode of Porc Therapy. It's me, Stephanie, here with you. I'm your host, as always, and you might be hearing this on audio, but you may also be seeing it on video, which is really cool because you don't normally get to see me on video, but I'm happy to have a video and to have the help of the guys from Bitcoin Not Bombs at recording this. This is really cool. As you can see, I'm sitting outside on the porch right now. It's a nice day in New Hampshire, so I figured I'd take advantage of that for the video. And I've got a guest with me. It's Davi Barker. Hey, Davi, thanks for being here.
Hello, how are you?
Doing great. It's funny because you held up your hand to say hi, and normally on the radio, yeah, you can't really tell when somebody does that. But I keep forgetting we're gonna have video of this too, so that's great.
Yeah.
So you are the Muslim agorist, but
Yep.
you are also a part of and we've talked on the show before. Actually, you've been a guest on Porc Therapy in the past. But now you're involved with a new project, and it's called Bitcoin Not Bombs.
Yeah.
I love that name. I have to say, I love the name so much. I mean, because it just encompasses everything that I feel excited about with Bitcoin. You know,
Right.
it's a tool of empowerment, of financial freedom, but also of personal freedom. And financial freedom is personal freedom, but it's a tool of empowerment. It builds connections among people all over the world, and the government can't create it, so they can't use it to buy endless bombs and wage wars that they can't pay for. Was that kind of the inspiration for the name? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure. Well, my partner, Drew Phillips, and I, we've been working together on his Don't Tread on Meme stuff for a while, and you know, he's helped me promote Shiny Badges, and sort of behind the scenes, he and I have been working together for a long time. And so we decided that it was time to sort of package what we're doing as its own project. And the name Bitcoin Not Bombs actually originally came from some marketing material we put together for antiwar.com. When they first started accepting Bitcoin, we were brainstorming online, like, why is Bitcoin important to antiwar.com? And why is antiwar.com important to the Bitcoin community? And that was just sort of the slogan or the name that kind of came out of that conversation. But as soon as we did that, I went and I snagged bitcoinnotbombs.com because I knew that it was going to be a good piece of real estate. And it wasn't until a few months later that we figured out what we were going to do with it.
Yeah, so that's a perfect lead-in to tell me a little bit more about what you're going to do with it now. What are your plans for bitcoinnotbombs.com?
Yeah, so what we're essentially aiming to be is a launching pad for NGOs, social entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, agorists, anybody who wants to get involved in the Bitcoin economy, but maybe they're new to it, or maybe there's some like learning that needs to be done. We want to facilitate them because we've been involved for a while. We've been scouting out the various tools that are available, and so we want to do two things. We want to educate them and their current customer or client base about what Bitcoin is and why it's valuable and why it's important. And then we also want to turn around and we want to educate the Bitcoin community about why their service or why their charity is important to them. And we essentially want to cross-pollinate these people so that they're not just like putting Bitcoin on their website and like passively watching to see what happens, but they're actually coming into the community with a splash, and they're making some headlines if we can do it, and they're making, you know, so we want to be a publicity arm of organizations that want to adopt Bitcoin as their payment system.
Yeah, I think that's so cool because there's just such a natural overlap between organizations like this that are maybe, you know, in the realm of like pushing for some kind of social change in a more liberty-oriented direction, and Bitcoin. I mean, it overlaps so well. So of course they're going to be a great fit for each other. and being able to work with the Bitcoin community and like introduce them to some of these organizations, I think could be really powerful, and also, helping them get started using Bitcoin to empower their organizations. And I mean, just speaking from experience, having worked with Free Aid over the past, I know that it can be a real distraction from the mission of the organization, which is, to me, is helping people, supporting volunteers who provide first aid, to have to deal with PayPal because they keep locking down our account, and it's hard for people to donate and support us, and we have to submit all this paperwork, and it's just kind of a mess. And Bitcoin really frees people up to do way more on the side of not worrying about accepting payments, but just doing what they want to do with their organization. So that's really cool.
Not just PayPal, and I mean not even just like the legacy banking system, but the IRS. Like this financial system, the sort of mainstream financial system, is so encumbered with paperwork and bureaucracy and confusion. I mean, if you want to be absolutely certain that you're above board dealing with dollars, you essentially have to hire an attorney. So, like, it's a very confusing system. And Bitcoin, even though it's maybe technologically more advanced and there's a learning curve there, it's legally much. As far as the paperwork is concerned, it's for the internet, right? It's click and play. So
yeah,
we want to see people spending their time on what they're passionate about and not spending their time trying to comply with regulations they don't understand.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I really appreciate that. And especially with charities, there are a lot of regulations that I think the government would love to claim that certain charities are subject to, and there are probably a lot of charities that don't exist today because they just couldn't do what they want to do without running afoul of some regulation or other. And so at least Bitcoin is helping more charities, I think, potentially be out there in existence, and that's really exciting to me.
Well, I mean, that's true.
But it's not... Yeah, go ahead.
For even our namesake, like Food Not Bombs is probably the biggest in the sort of not bombs community of organizations, and they regularly run afoul of food distribution laws, where a municipality will come and say, no, you're not allowed to feed the hungry, and if they're accepting donations, there's even more legal ramifications for them, and even more sort of opportunity for the state to attack them for what they're doing. And they're trying to feed people. Like the idea that this has become criminal is just ridiculous.
I totally agree, and that's a great example that really brings it home exactly how some of these regulations are impacting charities that are just trying to help people out. And I just wanted to comment before we go into my next question. I see your background there, and it's a black and yellow flag, and then you've got the Free Aid shirt on, and I really like your setup there. It's just really cool. So I wanted to ask. Oh, go ahead.
I've had this shirt for a long time. It's I've been a supporter of Free Aid pretty much since I first heard about it. So
Yeah, we really appreciate your enthusiasm and your interest in the organization. It's definitely an important project to me. And in case anybody doesn't know what Free Aid is, I'm saying Free Aid, but it's actually spelled Fr33Aid.com, where you can find out more information about Free Aid. What it is basically is we're an organization, and I say we because I'm involved with it. Free Aid provides support for volunteers who are doing first aid, mostly at like liberty-oriented type events like the Porcupine Freedom Festival. That's our biggest event right now with several hundred people, over 1,000. And we help out with providing first aid for the event, sunscreen, bandages, bug spray, cleaning out cuts and things like that. And we also do a couple of other things. One is outreach to the public about health and safety. So we do like CPR education and teach people how to use a defibrillator in case of an emergency and somebody goes into cardiac arrest. It's sort of like neighbors helping neighbors instead of having to rely on some of these services that are often provided by the state, to get there. You can help your neighbor out directly. And also we provide an networking space for liberty-loving healthcare professionals. So that's a little bit about what Free Aid does.
You're doing.
And Davi, you mentioned, what's that?
I said you guys are doing more than that. You're doing speaking gigs now. You're going to be at the Bitcoin conference in a couple of weeks, and we're really excited about that because for us it's sort of like our sort of first step out into the world doing what we're doing. So it's you guys and then Anti-War and the Free State Project are going to be speaking on a panel about Bitcoin for nonprofit organizations, which is that's what we're excited about too. And so we're really excited.
And Bitcoin Not Bombs is helping us get there too,
absolutely.
Which is really exciting. Yeah. So I'm just really excited to tell people about what Free Aid is doing, and that kind of goes into the next thing I wanted to ask you about, which was you mentioned at the beginning of this talk, Davi, that you at Bitcoin Not Bombs are hoping to help these organizations that you're promoting make a splash in the media, and you really did help Free Aid do that recently on Tax Day, April 15th of 2013. Free Aid announced as an organization that we were going to be going in a Bitcoin direction. We're going to do as much of our operations in Bitcoin as possible, and because of all these problems with the legacy banking system, and to enable us to focus more on our mission. And we also announced that we were abandoning our IRS application for nonprofit status that we had in process for the past year or so. And so that made quite a splash, I think, because of the promotion that Bitcoin Not Bombs had given us. You actually got in touch with the Huffington Post and enabled us to get some coverage there.
Yeah, this is going to be part of our campaigns when we do this for organizations. Is over the last maybe couple of years, I've amassed a pretty huge media contact list, and it's not just like the Liberty media. It's not just things like Free Talk Live and Porc Therapy. It's also mainstream media contacts. So I have essentially an extensive list of people who I have some sense of what they write about and what they're excited about. And so when I see somebody at Huffington Post and they're writing about Bitcoin, I get their contact information and I add them to the list. And so when press releases go out, they're likely to end up in pretty mainstream places sometimes. I mean, you can't guarantee that because it's really up to the publication and the journalists and whatnot. But that's what a press release is for, is to send it out like an invitation to everybody, every contact you have in the media, and say, look, this is a story. We think it's a big story, and if you want to jump on it, I mean, you have an opportunity to corner it because it's being announced today. So we were very excited that the Huffington Post chose to cover Free Aid's announcement that they were abandoning their IRS tax status, because we want to see more people do that, right? We want to see that become a normal thing that people discuss whether they're a charity or a church or whatever. There's all these sort of tax statuses that people have to put themselves in these sort of financial boxes of what they are and are not allowed to do, and we want to give people the financial freedom to ignore that.
Yeah, absolutely. I always found it funny that churches, basically automatically get this government-recognized nonprofit status, but other organizations have to kind of go through this long process and beg for it, and it's kind of unlikely that they're going to get it. And that was, in fact, what happened with Free Aid. We submitted this application. They got back to us about almost a year later saying, well, you're organized as an LLC and we want you to be a C corporation or something else. We would have had to hire lawyers. It would have been a lot of work. We would have had to pay more money to get that done. And, at the end of the day, we're a small charity and we kind of just decided it's not worth it, So we were really excited to go in the Bitcoin direction, and I think I can't wait to see what the future holds for Free Aid. So as you mentioned, we are going to be, and I say we, I mean not only Free Aid and myself and Teresa Warmke, my partner at Free Aid, but also Bitcoin Not Bombs, which is basically you and Drew Phillips at this time, and also antiwar.com, represented by Angela Keaton, and the Free State Project, and Carla Garrick is going to be there with the Free State Project. We are all going to be at the Bitcoin 2013 conference, and there is going to be a panel discussion, which I'm moderating, about nonprofits and the Bitcoin community. And you can see that at the Bitcoin conference on Sunday. I think they just moved us to Sunday around to 2 p.m. Sunday afternoon. What's that,
30 to
Debbie?
2:30 p.m.
1:30 to 2:30 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, yeah, at the Bitcoin conference. And hopefully, we're going to try to capture some audio and or video of it. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. And
Yeah.
background noise outside here. And yeah, the panel will include, Teresa from Free Aid and Angela from antiwar.com and Carla from the Free State Project, and I'll be the moderator. So make sure to catch that if you can, and if you can't, hopefully we'll have a way for you to hear it afterwards. I'm really excited.
We're gonna try and get that recording for you when we're there. But also, Drew and I are going to be volunteering at your table, as you know, but the listeners may not. So you guys can actually come and see us there. We're going to be at booth 15 in the exhibitors hall, and we're gonna be showing a bunch of we made some Bitcoin Not Bombs T-shirts. We've got some lapel pins and some other sort of shot glasses and other merchandise that we've made as a fundraiser for these organizations. So if you come to booth 15 and you purchase any of the Bitcoin Not Bomb swag from their table, the proceeds from that go to Free Aid and Anti-War and the Free State Project.
Right, yeah, thank you for mentioning that. And tell me more about this T-shirt project. You are a person who does graphic design, and I know you've been making a lot of designs for Bitcoin Not Bombs and also for Free Aid, which is really cool. I love to see your graphics on Free Aid stuff. But tell me more about the T-shirts and why you decided to go that route and what they do.
Sure. Before I left the 9-to-5 world, I was a full-time graphic designer, and I was also specifically I worked for a screen printing shop, and I did production art for product development and things like that. So my strongest background when it comes to graphic design is product development. Even though people may know my graphics better from Facebook memes, that's my area of expertise, right? So we essentially, this is another part of the campaigns that we want to run for these organizations, is that we want to create fundraising drives with a product that really suits the organizations that we're going to be working with. So this is our inaugural launch, and so we're sort of partnered with these three organizations to produce these T-shirts, and we've got sponsors that are listed on the back of these T-shirts. But in the future, for example, the next one that we have planned is Copblock is doing a badge through Shiny Badges, but instead of
does it grant you extra rights?
No, it doesn't. But that's but this is the exciting thing about this one, is that Shiny Badges typically does 1-inch lapel pins, but this is going to be a full-size badge. Like it's a metallic badge that it's modeled on the Keene Police badge. But instead of saying Keene Police, it says badges don't grant extra rights. So the idea is that the product is designed to promote both the mission of the organization and to raise funds for the organization. And those will probably be out by PorcFest.
Right. Cool. That sounds really interesting. And I think it's a great way to not only have someone help out some organizations that they believe in, but also give them something as a thank you gift for that, as a way that they can not only tell everybody else that they've supported these organizations, but also they have a cool thing in return, like a T-shirt or a badge or whatever. So I like that approach to fundraising. Absolutely.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, it's nice to see people sharing it too. Like, if you get photographs of your supporters in your T-shirts or in your badges, you can sort of create a montage of, the whole community that's been supporting this campaign. And so it's sort of a nice way for people to participate through social media too.
Yeah, absolutely. So is there anything else you want to say to, I guess, my audience or to anybody who might be watching this video out there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled by the success that we've had. This has really just been in the last couple of months that we've been really working on this, and we've got what I think is a great campaign for these three organizations for our first launch, and we've already got people who are sort of coming to us and saying that they want our help on their launch, and the website's been developed. We this week we launched a section of the website called the Orange Pages, that is the directory of Bitcoin participating organizations and merchants and websites And right now it's pretty scarce, but the idea is to make it like a phone book, that it'll be broken up into categories, that it'll have links to the web pages that are available to either spend Bitcoin or invest in Bitcoin, or like essentially we want to make it the most comprehensive Bitcoin directory on the web. So if you've got something that you want to list, the basic listing is free, just like the phone book. And then we're also going to be selling upgrades, just like the phone book. So it's essentially the web version. Cool. It's the web version of the phone book model of advertising. And that's something I'm excited about. But then after that, we're going to be at Porc Fest. We've got some exciting things we haven't announced about Porc Fest. After that, we're going to Libertopia. So, yeah, it's just about keeping the momentum going at this point.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting. I'm glad to hear your plans, and I'll be there at Porc Fest. I'll be there at Libertopia, so we'll be rooting for you all the way. And thank you so much, Davi, for being. What's that?
I was going to say the broad mission. What we're really all about is we want to launch the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, and we want to see mutual aid organizations and NGOs and social entrepreneurs have the success that merchants and entrepreneurs have had with Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely. A really noble mission. So thank you so much, Davi, for being on my show. You can find my website at porctherapy.com. It's porctherapy.com. And you can find Davi's website, Andrew Phillips, at bitcoinnotbombs.com, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and if you want to, support Free Aid, Anti-War, and the Free State Project, you can always, and get a cool t-shirt in the process, you can check out the store over at bitcoinnotbombs.com, and they have some limited edition t-shirts, black and orange, and with cool Bitcoin related designs. So if you want to just show off your enthusiasm for Bitcoin, or if you want to help us out, that's a great way to do it too. So one more time, bitcoinnotbombs.com. And Davi, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is great.